Thanks for joining us for UND Sports Extra. I'm Alex Heinert. We're now a few days, of course, into the new year, but before the calendar officially turned to 2017, North Dakota basketball had some 2016 business to take care of, namely starting Big Sky Conference play. The 29th and 31st of December saw UND take on a pair of West Coast rivals to open up the conference slate.
Let's start at the Betty last Thursday night, where Travis Brewster and company would look to get the conference schedule started on a positive note. Portland State would get a game-high 27 points from Sidney Riley and would keep this one close throughout, but UND would lead for almost 37 minutes on the night, forcing 21 turnovers and committing a season-low 11 themselves en route to a 65-61 victory. Makailah Dyer would lead UND with 18 points, while Fallon Freegee would chip in with 13 points, 9 boards, and 4 assists in the win. North Dakota would complete the opening weekend sweep on Saturday in convincing fashion, blasting Sacramento State 94-71. UND would jump out to a 26-12 lead after the first and never really look back, outscoring the Hornets 32-10 in the paint and out-rebounding the visitors 60-36 on the night. Dyer would score a game-high 21 points, her fourth 20-plus performance this season. Lexi Clabo would go for 16 points and a career-best 17 rebounds, while Sam Roscoe would finish with 18 and 8 off the bench to help UND capture their fifth win over their last 6. Out west, Brian Jones and the UND men would have a tough go in their Big Sky opener at Portland State on Thursday. The 7-4 Vikings, one of the hottest teams in the league entering the weekend, would use a 26-2 run midway through the first half to put UND in a hole they could not climb out of. The hosts would shoot nearly 57% from the field and put 7 players in double figures on their way to a 99-62 victory. Credit North Dakota for not dwelling on that defeat, however, as 2 days later in Sacramento, the Fighting Hawks would come out with one of their best 20 minutes of the season. Quentin Hooker would pour in 23 of his season-high 31 points in the first alone to lead UND to a 52-point half and a 19-point advantage at the break. Sac State would come roaring back in the second, however, shooting at a 68% clip and shutting UND's offense down to erase the deficit and take the lead actually at 72-69 with under 2 minutes to play. But UND would finish strong. Down 2 with seconds remaining, Corey Baldwin would find Drick Bernstein inside for the lay-in to force overtime, and the Fighting Hawks would take it from there, outscoring the Hornets 15-7 in the extra frame to earn the 90-82 road victory.
So the North Dakota men earned the split to start the conference season. We'll get the thoughts of head coach Brian Jones after the break.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance and the University of North Dakota.
UND men's basketball fought their way to a split on the road to open up Big Sky play. And here to talk about it, the head coach of the men's basketball team, Brian Jones. And Brian, it's been a couple of weeks. Happy New Year to you since we got to speak last.
Happy New Year to you. It's been a while.
Yeah, it has. A lot of unique circumstances over the end of the last couple of games in the non-conference. A couple tough losses, of course, for the guys to kind of work through. Is it nice in times like that just to give the guys a couple days just to reset, have a break, and then come back strong for Big Sky play?
Oh, no question. I think we were on the road so much, and they're still kids. They still miss their family. They still want to be able to go home and recharge their batteries. I think as coaches, we need that as well. So, yeah, it was a challenging end to our non-league schedule against a lot of quality opponents, a lot of learning lessons. You always need those as you move forward because we want to be the best we can be as we work through this conference. And if some of the things we had to go through in those last few games help us get to where we want to go to, then those are the things we have to get through. And I always appreciate the opportunities to learn, even as a coach. And I think our guys took a step back from those games and that Christmas break. We were really ready to reflect upon them and ready to start the Big Sky Conference play.
Yeah. You look to retake the court on Thursday after that 9-day gap over Christmas. Kind of a longer gap maybe than you would plan. Some weather issues preventing some of the guys from getting back, shorting up that practice week a little bit before you went out to Portland State. Talk about how that just affects things when you don't have the guys here on campus to make those adjustments to get ready for conference play. Like that.
It does. I mean, our program, I think every program is all about preparation. And when you're cut into that, and we've already been traveling a long time, then we have the longest trip of the year. So where we got to grow and where we got to be better as a program and players especially is you can't allow those circumstances to affect your focus, your preparation, your effort, and I thought they did. And we talked about that long after. We watched the entire game Thursday night after the game just to let them see their focus and their effort. I thought it was a great teaching moment for them, and we really responded coming back on a short turnaround. We played at noon on Saturday afternoon in California after a long travel to get to Sacramento. So there was growth there, and there's going to be some good, some bad. You can never get too high, you can never get too low, and I think that's what we're constantly trying to stress to our guys.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. Obviously, a tough loss certainly on Thursday night's open conference play, and as you said, these are the kind of moments. You haven't had many lopsided losses like this in your tenure, but when they do, a chance to re-examine, retest, and learn a little bit for the kids.
Yeah, to me, it talks a lot about your character. Are you going to lay down and stay down, or are you going to get up and really fight for what you believe in and yourself? It's not only about the name on the front of your jersey, which we always preach as coaches, but also you got to take a lot of pride in the name on the back of your jersey. That's your family, your friends, and what you're about.
What in your minds kind of went wrong in that Portland State game? They really kind of jumped on you. There was that big run in the first half, I think a 26-2 stretch. What was happening out there for the guys?
We didn't value the basketball. I mean, it's the first time we turned it over 26 times, and it led to, it's got to be a record, 51 points off our turnovers. I've never heard of that stat before. So that has never been us, and I thought it just snowballed in a hurry. They hit a bunch of shots. It's kind of like our game versus Northern Iowa in our building last year, where they just kept hitting threes, and everybody, it was just contagious. And it was contagious for us on the offensive end of turning it over. So, but with that said, we cut it to 13 and missed 3 straight shots at the rim to even cut into it further in that second half. And then we lost our focus again, so we allowed our offense to affect our defense.
Yeah, it was a tough loss on Thursday, but as you mentioned, a great response just a couple days later, another long trip down to Sacramento. And you came out of the gates, really maybe the best 20 minutes that you've had all season, a great start against the Hornets. What was the key to that fast start against Sac State?
We just talked about urgency. You should, come out like your hair's on fire, basically. You got to come out and defend with urgency, offensively get back to what we do. We really talked about just our staples. We had to get back to our staples defensively. We got to get back to our staples offensively, and that's making the extra pass, playing with pace, sharing the ball, taking great shots defensively, really defending. We did that for 20 minutes. We talked about them at halftime. Sacramento is a prideful team. They're going to come out and give you everything they got, which they did. We got the shots, the same shots in the second half as we did in the first half. We just didn't make them, and give Sac State a lot of credit. They really played well in that second half, and then obviously we get it to overtime, and our guys really played well defensively again and offensively.
Yeah, it was a great comeback from the Hornets to make it a game. They take the lead towards the end. A couple of seconds left. You're down by 2. Great play from Corey Baldwin to find Rick Bernstein underneath to get the tying bucket. Just talk about the poise of those guys to make that happen in those crunch time situations.
No question. That's exactly what we talked to our guys. They weren't panicking. The ball went from the right side to the left side, and everybody expects Q to probably take that shot. It shows his unselfishness, but it shows also Corey's awareness of being able to get his feet to the paint. And he had, obviously, he had the drop off for the score, but he had another guy open too. To me, that shows a senior play and the growth that he's had. And that's what it was exciting to see. And we bounced back from shooting the ball poorly Thursday night from the foul line too. And we were, 21 and 23 from the foul line at Sacramento State, so that helps you win on the road as well.
Yeah, get the huge road split, the overtime win over Sacramento State. Now you get to come home. You've had one home game in the last 45 days. It's been a long stretch on the road. Now you get a couple of teams that have struggled this season. I think NAU and Southern Utah, both 3-11 on the campaign. Obviously, no guarantees in the Big Sky, but nice to get back home and take on a couple of more teams.
It is, and you're right. There is no guarantees. I've watched them on film, and I'm impressed with them. It's this league doesn't get enough credit for the coaching, for the players. Our non-league schedules are always so tough, so I always throw that out the door. So we got to be ready to play, and we can't take into account what we did in their buildings last year. We got to show growth from that. We played at a high level in their buildings last year and beat them pretty well, so I know they're going to be ready to go.
Yeah, NAU Thursday night, Southern Utah on Saturday. Coach, best of luck in those contests. We'll talk to you about it next week.
Thank you.
Ryan Jones. Coming up next, more UND basketball with Travis Brewster. Stick around. Welcome back. Well, alongside me now, the head coach of UND women's basketball, Travis Brewster. Coach, Happy New Year.
Yep, Happy New Year.
Good to have you with us again today. Back before Christmas, you guys had a great come-from-behind win on the road final non-conference game at San Diego. How big was that victory to go into that Christmas break on a high note?
Well, with a depleted roster, with people being sick, it was really exciting for our team, just simply because San Diego, Sweet 16 WNIT last year, being able to win on the road, it was exciting for our team. They played well down the stretch, and that was the key. We gave ourselves a chance by playing it close and not getting rattled. So it was really good to see the team come together.
Yeah, able to carry the momentum from that win against San Diego over the Christmas break and into the start of conference play. And you got a couple of big wins to open up the conference season at home, starting with a win on Thursday against Portland State. Great defensive effort from your girls, especially in that first half. Really came out strong against the Vikings.
Well, the big thing is in our conference, you got to establish two ends of the floor, and then especially at home, you really want to establish the defensive end of the floor is what we emphasize. And the players, I thought, did a really good job of coming out and executing that part of it. Offensively, we were a little stagnant. I thought we took a lot of the correct shots during the game. They just didn't fall in the first half, and in the second half, they kind of got going a little bit.
Yeah, you held PSU to 21 first half points. You forced 14 turnovers in the opening 20 minutes. You really led throughout this contest, but Portland State kept it close. It seemed like anytime you would pull away, they would make up that stagger as the game went along.
Yeah, a young basketball team trying to find their way, and they made some key baskets, just making plays. But I really thought that Makailah Dyer did a good job of kind of leading us down the right path where we needed to go, and the team just did a heck of a job.
Yeah, outcome was in doubt in that fourth quarter, but your team showed really good poise. You mentioned Makailah Dyer making a couple of key free throws. It just felt like in the end, you had the correct head on your shoulders to come through and pull out a big victory at home.
Well, I mean, in sports in general, you want your players to have some composure about themselves and really protect home court and be calm. And I thought we did a good job of that. And I thought our fans did a tremendous job of backing us up in the Betty there. And, I just liked how our team played together. I thought we made a lot of good passes offensively, defensively. I thought we did a very good job of helping each other out. But when you turn a team over 21 times, I mean, that's a pretty big deal, and our assist ratio was great too. So, I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, you get the 65-61 win on Thursday. 2 days later, you host Sacramento State. And it's a team that's not the most fun to play against, a high press type intensity team. But you held down onto the basketball really well in that first half. Were able to shut down their three-point game and really create offense for yourself. You built a big lead early and really never looked back in this one.
Yeah, Coach Harkeload's team has always, the last 3 years, has led the nation in scoring. Also turnover ratio, even offensive rebounds. So they're a really high-paced team, and they shoot a ton of threes. And our team had, again, a very good focus about themselves as executing the game plan. And that's the biggest thing right now that's changed for us from the beginning of the year is there's a lot more focus on, okay, here's the game plan, this is what we need to do. And it's allowing us to have success. Sacramento State, it's exciting for you guys, it's hectic for us, and the team did a great job of just moving the basketball again, but I thought defensively that was a big key for us. We really limited their three-point shots.
Yeah, built a 16-point lead at the half, and I thought over the course of that first half, really good poise from the girls in your backcourt. You mentioned again they're a team that likes to force the ball and turn over the basketball from you, but Grace Sawatsky and Jill Morton and those girls stepped up, really, some of those young kids starting to develop some of that common poise that you need.
Well, they're all young too. I mean, Makailah Dyer's the senior, everybody else is sophomores. So, and Chassie Franklin's a junior, and I really thought they did a good job of distributing the ball amongst themselves and relying on each other. I thought our post did a very good job of being available for an outlet for us. And again, though, you look at Makailah, who's played this team, obviously 3 years of her career and knows what it takes, and we got the ball in her hands, and she did some very positive things. And Lexi Claybo was tremendous for us, and Samantha Roscoe's a great compliment. They work together well. And Fallon's been so steady for us all year long that we're pretty fortunate. But the unsung hero in that game was Bailey Strand. I mean, she did a really good job distributing the basketball, played some very tenacious D, things that didn't show up in the stat column at all. And, our team benefited from it.
Yeah, great to have her back after missing all of last season with that knee injury. A great three-point shooter, and she's been big for you guys early. You put up a season high of 94 points in that contest, so you go to 2-0 in conference play. Really nice to open up the season at home to get a couple of those wins, build a little bit of momentum now as you get ready to hit the road here coming up this next week.
Yeah, well, I guess we're not going to complain about going out to Arizona right now with
Yeah.
the weather coming up here. But,
Not a bad time for that trip, yeah.
Yeah, you know, again, two games that are going to be a stiff challenge for us, and we have to take care of business. There's no gimmies in our conference. We start in Flagstaff there, and then we turn around and we got to go to Cedar City to play Southern Utah. So it's a tough road swing, both elevation games.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things, though, that with our conditioning, with our strength coach, Nate Bacco's done with their team, I'm confident that we'll be able to take care of business. But, you know, you never know. And you just got to go out and play each game, each night. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Northern Arizona, Southern Utah, both 5-7, identical records on the season. You'll be facing these two, at least hopefully with Leah Zabla back. She's missed the last 4 games with injury. How has her progress been going with that?
Well, she isn't injured. She's sick, and it's just one of those things that takes time,
Yeah.
and we don't know if we'll have her or not. That's just the way it goes. We'll have to wait for the doctors to see what their prognosis is for her. You know, we wish her well, and you know, I know the team and myself, we've all been in communication with her. The team probably texts her daily and FaceTime and Instagram, Snapchat, and Lee and I have talked on the phone. So I'm old school, you know, I rather talk on the phone a little bit. But, you know, we just want her to get well, you know, and at some point maybe she'll make it back. It's just a timing thing. You know, It takes time for her to get over an illness, and, you know, it's unfortunate for her in her senior year. But, you know, right now we can focus on our team of what we have here, you know, and when she comes back, it'll be a great addition. That's how we have to approach it. And, you know, right now I like how our team's handling themselves.
Yeah, well, we certainly wish Leah well, and certainly congratulations on being able to weather this storm without her the last couple of games. 3 straight wins now for the crew going into this weekend against Northern Arizona and Southern Utah. Coach, best of luck this weekend in the desert. Enjoy maybe a little bit of sun down there. We'll talk to you about it next week.
Thanks. Happy New Year.
Travis Brewster, to you as well, you bet. Coming up after the break, we're going to sit down with one of the senior captains for Coach Brew, Makailah Dyer. Stick around. Welcome back. Well, since arriving in Grand Forks in 2013, Makailah Dyer has become well known around Big Sky country for her scoring punch. The native of Wisconsin currently leads UND and is 9th in the Big Sky, averaging 14.5 points a game. But there's more to Makailah than a good jump shot. Here's our Marty Mueller with the UND senior.
We're joined today by Makailah Dyer. Makailah, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, no problem.
Just going to get to know you a little bit better. So tell me about where you grew up. What was that like for you?
So I'm from Madison, Wisconsin. I'm born and raised, been there my whole life. It's a pretty cool town, pretty diverse, so I really like that about it. Went to high school there, and yeah, lived in the same house my whole life. Pretty boring, but yep, so from Madison.
Tell me a little bit about basketball for you growing up. What was that like?
It was a pretty big deal in my family just because my mom played and my aunt played, and my dad coached a little bit at the junior college level, so pretty big deal in my family. I actually did a little bit of taekwondo first, but
Really?
yeah, but then I got into basketball in about 3rd grade, and then it's been my life pretty much ever since.
What was it like growing up with your family being so involved and, you know, having alumni go to big schools and things like that?
It was cool, but at the same time it was kind of tough just because my mom has always been my biggest critic, but also my biggest supporter. So it's been awesome, but it's been hard. She's definitely pushed me to a different level. So.
We'll talk about your path to UND. I know you have some ties here, so tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so after I decided to transfer from Wisconsin, I got a call from Brew, and obviously my cousin Troy played here, so he was just telling me how much he loved it up here and was like, you got to come on a visit. So once I got up here, I kind of fell in love with it. Really loved the facilities and the girls and the coaches, obviously. So yeah, I just loved it up here. And
We like having you too. Talk about maybe your favorite basketball moment from any age. Could be, you know, anything at all.
I definitely have to say here, my first year of playing, we won the Big Sky Championship. Just unbelievable experience being able to win at home pretty handedly against Montana, and being able to cut down the nets in front of our fans was probably the most unreal experience I've had.
Yeah. What would you say is like your game day ritual, if you have any, or something like you have to do before you can step out on the floor?
Definitely have to take a nap after shoot around. Then I usually try and get to the gym a little bit early, listen to some music. We have a little dance party in the locker room. And I like to think that I can dance, but I don't know if my teammates would agree. So do a little bit of that and then try and get up here, get some extra shots before the game, and that's it.
You know, it's not the first time someone said they have a dance party in the locker room.
Yeah.
A lot of teams say that. So what's on the radio or what's playing for you guys?
I don't know. We like a lot of Drake, Beyonce,
Okay.
Rihanna, just some stuff that we can get going to.
Cool. If you had to pick like one vacation spot, like somewhere you could go right now to get away, where would that be and why?
I'd probably say Hawaii, just because I've never really been out of the country, but I think it would be awesome to go to the ocean and sit on a beach somewhere, and I think that would be really cool.
For sure. Just get away from basketball maybe a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
If you had to pick, last one for you,
Okay.
just something that you had to do outside of basketball, like a sport or something that you would play, what would that be?
I'd have to say gymnastics.
Okay.
Never done it in my life, but I just love Olympic gymnastics. I think they're so awesome. So if I had the ability, I think I'd try and do that.
I think you could give it a try.
Oh, no.
Well, thank you so much for being with us. It was
Yeah,
a lot of
thanks for
fun.
having me.
Thanks.
Dyer has scored 1,189 points in her UND career, good enough for 22nd all-time in program history. If she keeps up the pace of 14.5 points a game like she's been averaging this season, that will put her just outside the top 10 all-time, something to keep track of as the season rolls along. Stick around. We'll set the scene for the week in UND athletics when UND Sports Extra returns.
UND Sports Extra on Midco Sports Network is presented by Farmers Union Insurance and the University of North Dakota.
We've got live North Dakota men's basketball coming your way this Thursday night on Midco SN2. The Fighting Hawks will look to improve to 2-1 in Big Sky play against the Lumberjacks of Northern Arizona. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Greg Steeman and I will have the call. The rest of the UND sports calendar looks like this for the coming week. After the NAU game, the North Dakota men host Southern Utah on Saturday afternoon, while in the spirit of mirror scheduling, the women's hoops team travels to Flagstaff and Cedar City this weekend. Men's hockey also on the road as they take on 18th ranked Omaha this Friday and Saturday at Baxter Arena. We'll keep you posted on all the events this week in UND athletics next week on UND Sports Extra. Until then, I'm Alex Heinert. Thanks for watching and Happy New Year.